Good morning, all you beautiful souls. You have arrived. This is Albuquerque Center for Spiritual Living. This is our virtual sanctuary. We are so delighted that you've chosen to join us either on Facebook Live or on YouTube. We couldn't do this without you. There would be no reason to do this without you. And I can tell you that the crew here, we feel each one of you out there beaming at us through your computer or whatever device you've joined us on. So take a moment and use the chat feed on however you're watching us to give out that virtual hug. See who is out there, connect. This is how we stay together in this unprecedented time of social distancing. So, if you're new to us, up in the right-hand corner of the chat feed, there's a link to a digital guest card. And if you're willing, we would love to hear from you, how you found us. Give us some information. We can stay in touch with you through email. We can reach back out to you with more information. Whatever you're needing, let us know by using that card. And also, if you're new, I'd like to introduce you a little bit more to what we're about here at Albuquerque Center for Spiritual Living. And the way I do that is to begin with our mission statement. So if you'll join me in reading that. We are love in action, transforming lives, and transforming communities. The way in which we endeavor to do that is through, right now, virtual offerings such as this service. We do workshops online now. We do classes online. We get together in small groups called spirit groups, which you'll hear about later on. We're doing everything that we can right now to find a way to feel spirit moving through us in those ways. So, today we have an amazing service for you. The inimitable, unsinkable, wonderfully beautiful, dynamic Catherine McGill is in the house, and she's going to speak to us deeply about what is ours to do in these times. And I can't wait to hear what she has to say to us. We are so blessed to have her here today. So to get started, I want to light this candle. We do this every week, and today I'm doing it in honor of Labor Day. And all of that means I want to honor everyone who is working hard, all of the essential workers that are making it possible for society to continue in this incredibly challenging time. I also want to acknowledge anybody who may have lost their job, that this light may be the way forward to something even bigger and better in your lives. So whatever labor is happening in your life, let this candle serve as a reminder that in this community you are seen and you are valued and you are loved. Let's have a great service.
My name is Kelly Sandin, and I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the center. I am ready. I am grateful to declare and embrace my knowing of the infinite source of all, the one source that is in everything, through everything. I simply know fully and completely that there is only one Creator, which answers by many names. I affirm that each of us is connected to that one source, to that one power. We are connected to the infinite intelligence, like a spider's web that weaves itself through everything and everyone. There is no thing operating right now that separates us from the Creator. Nothing blocking us from our connection to the One. I recognize this truth for each and every one of us right here and right now. So we can just simply relax, sit into this state of being open-hearted, open-minded, that sweet spot of our inner life, allowing the words, the messages, the music to bring us deeper into that inner life. And as we allow ourselves to be present to the service today, we are allowing ourselves this divine opportunity to connect to each other and to the Creator. And we are here together by divine order. We're here to celebrate our oneness. We're here to celebrate our commitment to stay open-hearted and open-minded to the presence that we are about to give and that we are about to receive. And as Spirit does, we are being beautifully, gracefully guided. So let's continue to be guided through the sacred reading. Howard Herman says, quote, "There is something in every one of you that walks and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself. It is the only true guide we will ever have. And if you cannot hear it, you will, all of your life, spend your days on the end of strings that someone else pulls," unquote. During these times in our lives, when it seems like there's nothing we can do to heal, to fix, those are the perfect opportunities for us to just go within, feel that sweet spot of our inner life, and listen. Listen for our authentic truth. When we give ourselves the gift of listening to our intuition, to the indwelling voice of God, we are cutting those strings and we are tasting freedom. As we become more aware and listen to our intuition and our awakening feelings of self-acceptance, we're awakening feelings of self-trust and self-love. Living the life of self-love allows us a life and life experiences that are in perfect unity with our soul and our spirit's calling. In the book, Art of Life by Ernest Holmes, he writes, quote, "The key to our whole understanding of life lies in the realization that life itself is perfect spirit. It is an ocean of unmanifested beings whose nature it is to live." When the Bible states that the Word of God moves upon the face of the deep and procedures to the creation, it means that the divine spirit speaks itself into existence by the power of the Word. And when the Bible states that man is made in the image of likeness of God, it is telling us that each one of us is an individual reproduction of the creative force and imagination and energy of the divine mind, unquote. So join me now as we continue to allow Spirit to gracefully move us deeper within during our meditation. Gently close your eyes and allow yourself to open up your heart space. And as you close your eyes, you can take a deep breath in, breathing in love, and breathing out anxiety. Allow each breath to be that physical reminder to let yourself sink deeper into peace, into love that lives in that sweet spot. Breathe in love. Breathe out anxiety. Now feel a comforting, warm, golden light appearing at your third eye. Feel it. Feel it radiating down your body like beautiful rain. Breathe in love. Breathe out fear. With each and every breath, you feel more relaxed. You let your shoulders come down from your ears. You let any tension in your body go. You feel yourself going deeper and deeper into peace. And you draw in that golden light and let it envelop you. As you feel this golden light cover you like a comforting quilt, you hear the language of this golden light. You hear its words. I am powerful. I am an individual expression of the One. I am abundance. I am loved. I am love. Breathe in these words. Let them flow over you. As they come through your third eye, let them sink all the way through to your toes. As you allow yourself the gift of this knowing that you are peace, you are love, you are God. You take this sweet spot of inner life with you where you go. You are never disconnected from it. And you simply can place your hand on your heart, feeling your heartbeat, reminding you of that space within. I'm going to bring you back into your space by asking you to begin to stretch. First, your toes. Just wiggle them. Then rotate your feet in a circle. Begin to move your hips back and forth. Stretching your arms. Allow yourself to gently open your eyes. Welcome back. And welcome to the rest of the service. Before I go, I want to say happy birthday to all the September babies. Namaste.
Get ready, my soul. Hi, everybody. How are you? Happy Sunday. So glad that you're with us today in our virtual sanctuary. I'm so glad to be here with you. And thank you, Amani. I love that song. It's like the best song ever. So thanks for singing it. It is Labor Day weekend for most of us. So if you get the day off tomorrow, hallelujah. I get a day off tomorrow, so I'm super excited to relax. But it's a long weekend and it's supposed to be a hot weekend for most of us. So I hope that you're enjoying your time, however you're spending it. We have been talking the last couple of weeks about our partnership with Circles USA, and Scott Miller is the founder of Circles USA, and he's also a member of our community, which is really awesome. And so we do have another video that I wanted to show you, so take a look at this.
What I like about Circles is that they try to attack the challenge of poverty in Pittsburgh through relationship building.
It's easier to make a relationship with one person and get to know them than it is to try to take on these really big concepts like gaps in socioeconomic status, things like racism on the relational level. The title of being called an ally. My goal is to be alongside someone to lift them up. My goal is not to have an agenda on someone else's life.
I mean, it's kind of like being a friend. So being an ally is pretty much everything that you would expect your friend to be there. So when things are going really well, you're celebrating with them and also talking about it when things don't go so well.
It's more of a support system. It's not a job. It's actually rewarding physically, emotionally, mentally. You don't have to be some special skilled person. It doesn't take a whole other part of my life to be a part of it.
You know, we are all in it together, so hopefully at the end of this journey, they will feel that, you know, they're not alone.
Since I've been going through this program, they have helped me with getting my finances together and feeling more confident with managing my money. And I'm actually in the process of purchasing my first home.
I've been on my own since I was 16. To actually ask people for help is extremely hard. I'm okay with asking for help. I actually look forward to it now. My ally, I love her. She doesn't judge me, and I can be open and honest. And I don't have to feel afraid to not know something. That has been an awesome feeling, to be able to have somebody you can call, and that's not family, but it is family.
Circles is a family, and it's a community of people who care and love each other, and you don't feel like anyone is judging you for where you came from.
A community that purposefully puts people from different walks of life together, and you find that you actually are stronger together.
And where else can you kind of look around the space and you see people who are from so many different backgrounds, being in community, sit and break bread with one another, celebrate our successes, and talk about the things that don't go so well. It's created a space that doesn't exist today in the 21st century.
Wow, I really like that video. I want to be an ally. Scott Miller, sign me up. Tell us what you think about Circles and the videos that we showed you last week and this week. Tell us what your ideas are about ending poverty in Albuquerque. You can put it in the chat, in the feed, on your screen. Let us know what you think. Let us know how you're feeling about this information. I'm pretty excited about it myself. So our goal is to end poverty in Albuquerque, and we can do it. We know we can do it. I'm holding the vision of that. I know that Reverend Amani is holding the vision of that, that it's something that's doable. So we all want to join together for that cause right here. We are committed to this cause here at the Albuquerque Center for Spiritual Living. So you can give to that. Give to ending poverty in Albuquerque. That's That's our goal right now, and we'll go and see where we end up from there. So if you'd like to give, you can do it a couple different ways. You can text to give, and that number should be on your screen. You can do a one-time gift or a recurring gift, which is something that happens every month so that we can keep track of how much we have to give. Also, you can do it on the website, abqcsl.org. You can press the Donate Now button and donate there. And we thank you so much for everything that you give, everything that you've done to make this community get out of poverty. And if you are experiencing poverty or you're experiencing anything that looks like financial issues, you can definitely get in touch with us and we can try to help. You can go on the website, office@abqcsl.org, and email us. Let us know what's going on so that we can reach out to you. And again, we thank you so much. I'm going to read the Abundance Affirmation by Paul Cuffey. It's a new one, so here we go. Abundance is the answer to every challenge we meet. An abundance of spirit present in my practice. An abundance of resources present in my affairs. An abundance of love present everywhere in my life. I meet every challenge I face with an abundance of faith, trust, and love. With a spirit of abundance, I give with love to my community. Ashe, Aho, Iacs, Amen, and so it is. Thank you.
Albuquerque Center for Spiritual Living friends and loved ones. It's been a long time since I've seen you, but I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad to know Reverend Imani Malaika. She is my sister friend, and there are so many of you great folks that are part of this amazing church community. So the last time that I spoke here, it was for a Martin Luther King Jr. holiday celebration, and we were talking about how we go about developing a beloved community, what we needed to do to achieve beloved community. So we fast forward a couple of years later, here I am again, and we're still talking about the same thing. I have got to be honest and let you know that I am tired. I am so tired of talking about the same things, having the same conversations over and over and over again, that I would like to begin my talk today by asking you to be in agreement with me that we're just going to get to the doing part of our existence. I just saw a meme on Facebook that went something like, we could either say one day or day one. So here we go. I'm asking you to agree with me that this is day one. A few months ago, a pandemic blindsided us and stopped all of us in our tracks and made most of us realize that the world as we knew it was no more. Everything changed in an instant. The season in our lives has been so incredibly challenging. We've experienced so much loss, and then right on top of it came a series of new blows that we had to pay attention to. We watched a modern day lynching in real time. It was everywhere, and there were no distractions that would allow us to ignore the 401-year pandemic of racism that is and has been as devastating as COVID-19. Our emotions are running high at this moment. People are asking, what can we do to end this crisis? How do we make Black Lives Matter for real? I suggest to you that we must do everything that we can, as Reverend William Barber once said, to make this a movement and not a moment. This, as my friend Brian Colon said, is a tipping point and not a flashpoint. And to further nuance that statement, I would add that our focus on this moment is truly essential. As I said, we can't ignore what's happening in this moment. That's impossible. But it must be accompanied by an equivalent focus on the movement. Let's talk about that. What do we do when the hashtags end? When they stop trending and when the news cycles end? And they are going to end. What will we do then? The system and the container that created this moment requires the same intensity of focus. Most of us agree that our system is broken and requires change. And I say most of us because I regularly read about people who say, not sure what the problem is. Why do y'all keep complaining? And for the record, these people who say that are not on my Christmas list. But while we may not all have the same understanding of what change might look like, there's fairly common agreement that there are major defects in our system of governance. So today I'm asking you to join me in understanding that we are not separate from the system. Collectively, we comprise it. I'd ask you to explore with me a new way to discuss the system by agreeing with, or at least seriously considering, this premise. I am the system. I am the system, therefore, I am the solution. So we're smart and committed people, and now is the time for us to acknowledge that the white supremacy and racism that is inherent within the structure of our systems will only change when we do. So my talk today is about our personal responsibility as relates to the situation that we currently find ourselves in as a nation. I also want to make an important distinction here. My name is Catherine McGill, founder-director of the New Mexico Black Leadership Council and the New Mexico Black History Organizing Committee. And the purpose to which my life is committed, my assignment, if you will, is to use my voice and influence to create a society that is based on equality and justice. I am a proud Black woman, very, very excited about my heritage and my ancestry, but I want you to know that I do not speak for every Black person. And it's a mistake to make one person your source of information about what is so. I encourage all of you to understand your own personal brand and your own pathway to being a leader, and we're all leaders, and demonstrating your own leadership. We're all leaders in our own unique way. So in regards to contextualizing the moment, this is not the first time that America has experienced this kind of national unrest. It seems to happen over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. On June 11, 1963, America's 35th president, John F. Kennedy, went on national television hours after Governor George Wallace tried to prevent two qualified African-American students from entering the University of Alabama. Kennedy had not previously been willing to use his office to mandate civil rights until he was forced to do so by protests and demands that he look at what was happening in this nation as a moral imperative to act. Until he relented and understood that if America was indeed the land of the free and indeed the home of the brave, that it had to be true for everyone, not just for some. He went on national television that night and he said, "Good evening, my fellow citizens. This afternoon, following a series of threats and defiant statements, the presence of Alabama National Guardsmen was required on the University of Alabama campus to carry out the final and unequivocal order of the United States District Court of the Northern District of Alabama. That order called for the admission of 2 clearly qualified young Alabama residents who happened to have been born Negro." He went on to urge Americans to look within and to reflect individually about where we wanted to stand when he said, "This nation was founded on the principle that all men are created equal, and that the rights of every man are diminished when the rights of one man are threatened. We are confronted primarily with a moral issue. It is as old as the scriptures and is as clear as the American Constitution. The heart of the question is whether all Americans are to be afforded equal rights and equal opportunities. 100 years of delay have passed since President Lincoln freed the slaves, yet their heirs, their grandsons, are not truly free. Neither will America be until all citizens are free." After delivering the speech, Kennedy reportedly said to a few trusted colleagues, "Sometimes you look at what you've done and the only thing you ask yourself is, what took you so long?" The next week, President Kennedy sent his civil rights bill to Congress. And with that impassioned plea and historic legislation that went to Congress and was eventually passed, shouldn't that have been the end of it? Why are we in this place again? I believe it is because our focus has been primarily on handling the crisis of the moment. Certainly the moment is important and must be addressed, but this focus distracts us, perhaps by design, from focusing on real change and long-term solutions. The system that we operate within is designed to be self-perpetuating. And while we focus on just easing the pain of the moment, the system continues on unabated. And many of the solutions that we employ are only temporary, not designed to last, not built to last. So we must ask ourselves why this is true. If we are who we say we are, and we believe what we say we believe. The Committee on Public Information, or the Creel Commission, headed up by George Creel and created by the Wilson administration, was an independent agency of the United States government, designed to influence public opinion to support our country's participation in World War I. The leading figure in the Creel Commission was a man by the name of Edward Bernays, the nephew of Sigmund Freud. Armed with his uncle's theories of the subconscious, Edward Bernays is considered to be the father of public relations and the catalyst for building what we now know as this booming public relations industry. Bernays wrote a book called Propaganda that chronicled the successful campaign to rally patriotism in World War I, to define patriotism as support for the war. And it should be noted that the term propaganda didn't have any bad juju around it at that time. It was just a way to shape public opinion until it became associated with the antics of Nazi Germany in World War II. Propaganda was a word used to define this concept of regimenting the public. What he said was, and he popularized the notion that it is possible and necessary to regiment the public mind every bit as much as an army regiments bodies. The techniques used to regiment minds, he said, had to be used, and get this, I want you to understand what I'm saying here, that this technique had to be used by the quote-unquote intelligent minorities in order to make sure that the government remained in power and control of the majority. What's implied there is the ignorant majority. And ladies, if you're ever wondering, who helped make pantyhose, that evil, incredibly hot, restrictive thing that we had to wear, incredibly popular, you have Edward Bernays, Freud's nephew, to blame. Because he told us as women that if we wanted to be beautiful, and that we wanted to be seen as empowered, that we had to wear silk hosiery and subsequently pantyhose to be considered so. And I don't know about you, but I agree that I do want to be considered beautiful, and I do want people to think that I'm empowered. But I don't think that pantyhose is what makes us beautiful and empowered. Wearing pantyhose, like so many other things, was a well-orchestrated, lucrative, and brilliant distraction, unbeknownst to me at the time. I played a game as a child that perfectly illustrates this point, and I made it the title of my talk today. The game usually began with some kid on the playground or in the classroom, and they would run up behind you and catch you by surprise and poke you on the shoulder and say, "Look over there." And as soon as you looked, they would start to laugh and say, "Ha ha, made you look, stole your mama's pocketbook." And this moment is important. And it's perhaps the most important time of my life. But if we focus only on the vagaries and the injustice of this particular crisis and not the system that created it, it will be another ha-ha made you look moment and nothing. And I do mean nothing will ever change. I find that unacceptable, and I hope you will too. And the way we dismantle the system, how do we do it? It is by taking individual ownership of this current moment. I am the system. Therefore, I am the solution. I ran across an article in the Harvard Business Review a few years ago that focused on how we change systems and organizations. And the author said that change occurs when leaders, and remember, we are all leaders, take personal responsibility and start each day by saying, what leadership is required of me? And how can I be of service? I'm asking you to begin to dismantle systems that don't support equality and justice by doing your own research on how we authentically live out the principles upon which this country was founded. And the next time you walk into a room where you have the power and the privilege to use your voice to make a difference, if you are who you say you are and you believe what you say you believe, you must. Let us go beyond diversity, equity, and inclusion, tokenism, and surface level diversity, equity, and inclusion. Go beyond that to humanism so that my interests are represented whether I am in the room or not. Take me with you and the common need for equality and justice to those spaces, and I promise to do the same for you. When you go into those rooms with an equality and a justice lens, ask yourself in the moment, what leadership is required of me in this moment? And how can I be of service in support of our common mission? And as Maya Angelou reminded us, it will take courage. She said, I am convinced that courage is the most important of all the virtues. Because without courage, you cannot practice any other virtue consistently. Oh, you can be kind for a while. You can be generous for a while. You can be just for a while or merciful for a while, even loving for a while. You'll be in the moment for a while. But it is only with courage that you can be persistently and insistently kind and generous and fair. It will take courage to change this system and make a commitment to shared power, not just that intelligent minority, regimenting the ignorant majority, but shared power. And I know we can do it. This is an anthem I wrote recently that I hope will define our efforts. Wake up. Stand up, speak out, break through, rise up, step back, step up, undo, start fresh, do right, listen, learn more. This is all we're asking for. This is a movement, not a moment. And in the spirit of my ancestors, without whom I would have no voice, I implore all of us to work together to make it so. Don't get distracted with the games we played as children. When presented with another, ha-ha made you look moment, call it like it is, and let folks know that this is a movement and not a moment. I'm not falling for it this time. No more conversations about justice in the future. One day, this is day one.
I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed on freedom. I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed on freedom. I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. I'm singing and praying with my mind stayed on freedom. I'm praying and singing with my mind stayed on freedom. I'm praying and singing with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Hello, and I'm inviting you to join me in the month of September for our series on practicing the religion of the inner life. Yes. And we're going to do this practice during the month of September because what I know for sure right now is one of the hardest pieces of being in life right now and being on a spiritual journey is holding the realities of the material world and our spiritual truths at the same time. It's probably always been our hardest challenge. But when we can do that, when we can be totally present in the material world, in the world of conditions and physical manifestations, and stay grounded in the truth of who we are and what God is and what love is and what spirit is, all at the same time, that's the sweet spot. And we are going to practice together during the month of September, finding that sweet spot and learning how to stay in it. And it's hard. It's hard to hold both. It's hard to stay grounded in spiritual truth and present to what is happening in the world right now, right? It is not an easy task. But that sweet spot is so worth finding and staying connected to. And so we're going to talk about how do you find it? Why do you find it? Why can't I just go bury my head in the sand? And does spiritual practice really help? Is it really going to help me feel better and stay grounded in this time? So that's what we're going to be talking about during the month of September. But here's what this is not going to be about. This is not going to be about some future outcome that we will dangle out in front of each other as if you do your spiritual practice and if you pray and meditate every day, then the world is going to be a better place. That's not what we're going to do. We're not going to put some future outcome, some future hope as the motivation for finding that sweet spot. Because the sweet spot is the reward. Communion with the truth of who we are is the reward. The religion of the inner life is the religion. It is the only place we find that divine authority. And I want to share some wisdom from you from Howard Thurman, who's going to be one of my huge resources this month. I have sought a way of life that could come under the influence of and be informed by the fruits of the inner life. That's from his book, Mysticism and the Experience of Love. May we each find a way of life that is entirely informed by the fruits of our inner being. And one of these fruits from practicing this religion of the inner life is a greater sense of hope. And I know right now we are in huge need of a greater sense of hope, but that hope can't be based out there and some future outcome. And here's what Cynthia Bourgeault, who is a Christian mystic and author, says. This greater hope has something to do with presence. Not a future good outcome, but the immediate experience of being met, held in communion by something intimately at hand. She goes on to say, it bears fruit within us at the psychological level in the sensations of strength, joy, and satisfaction. It brings us an unbearable lightness of being. But mysteriously, rather than deriving these gifts from outward expectations being met, it seems to be produced from within. So join me in September for the practice of inner life. And I'm going to leave you with a meditation from Howard Thurman in his book For the Inward Journey, The Moments of High Resolve. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. Despite the dullness and bareness of the days that pass, if I search with due diligence, I can always find a deposit left by some former radiance. But I had forgotten. At the time, it was full-orbed, glorious, and resplendent. I was sure that I would never forget. In the moment of its fullness, I was sure that it would illumine my path for all the rest of my journey. I had forgotten how easy it is to forget. There was no intent to betray what seemed so sure at the time. My response was whole, clean, authentic. But little by little, there crept into my life the dust and grit of the journey. Details, lower-level demands, all kinds of cross-currents, nothing momentous, nothing overwhelming, nothing flagrant, just wear and tear. If there had been some direct challenge, a clear-cut issue, I would have fought it to the end and beyond. In the quietness of this place, surrounded by the all-pervading presence of God, my heart whispers, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that in fair weather or in foul, in good times or in tempests, in the days when the darkness and the foes are nameless or familiar, I may not forget that to which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. And so it is.
Do you not just love this community? I know I do. So, again, this candle was lit today for each and every one of us in what labor is for us. Take this candle this week and know that you are part of something larger than yourself. I want to thank Catherine McGill. That was off the charts. Thank you so much, Catherine, for joining us in this space. And thank you, Reverend Amani. And thank you, Kelly Saindon. And behind the board, thank you, Jordana and Tony. And thank you, Maddie, for today, and Clarissa and the musicians and everyone who made this service possible. There is amazing things happening here. We are not isolated. If you're new to us, again, ABQCSL.org. Even if you're not new and you just want to know how to get more involved, thank you, Scott Miller. If you want to know how to get involved with circles and what we're doing here in this community, ABQCSL.org. You can even sign up for our newsletter, and every week you get reminded of exactly what's happening. Come join us. Get involved. Thank you so much. I've been watching the chat feed, and it's just breathtaking, the level of love and connection that we bring about into this world. We are the change, and it is happening right now. So if you'll join with me in saying this affirmation, we'll close the service today, and we can't wait to be back with you again next week. When my thoughts are full of unanswered questions, I turn to the sweet spot of my inner life by grounding myself in the spiritual truth of the Creator. Have a blessed week.
I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed on freedom. I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed